Stop the cap.
It's a fallacy, for people to say that if a Negro is prepared, if he prepares himself, well, then the opportunities are there. I think the press plays up the appointment of an extremely outstanding Negro to a high-level kind of position. He's probably an extremely capable person who should have been appointed to that position, much sooner than he was. But and this creates the impression that things are better, and they're not. Things are getting worse. And this includes all Negroes, those with degrees, those without. As we work in the Urban League, one of our major efforts is to establish communication between the races and assess the communication that takes place. And this is pretty much our business. And we have noticed particularly, well, I think it comes from Congress. Congress has adopted a hard line, and there's no reason to believe that they're going to change in any way as a result of the hard line that's being adopted assumed by America's Negroes, younger Negroes particularly. I think in terms of my own son, who's 17 years old, high school senior, about ready to graduate, and as we discuss philosophies, he says, in effect, that, you can have that Urban League approach, that I'm ready to be a man in America now, that I want full equality with no holds barred. And if I can't have it, no one can have it. And he's an intelligent boy, and in my opinion, a pretty decent boy, a nice boy. But this is his attitude. And this is the attitude of his friends.
It's there. We've got to start playing back. And the Negro male is beginning to get this feeling, especially the younger Negroes. I think this is so beautiful to watch these young kids who, if you listen to what they're saying, and they are saying something.
What do you plan to do, or what would you like to do? I guess this is an experimental program lasting about 6 months. What would you like to do after 6 months?
We'd like jobs. We want damn good jobs. We don't want that cotton washing and we want damn good jobs. I don't mean nothing. It doesn't got to be a white-collar job or nothing like that, but we just want damn good jobs, something that will grow, some type of job that has a future, some type of job that means something to you. You know how important a job is if it means something to you. You can grow on it.
Once you get a job, then what?
Then I can, I can sort of see myself if it's a good job and I feel that I can grow on this job and be motivated by the system that they have on this job, whatever it is. I can see the next 10 years maybe, I can see raising a decent family, I can see being somebody, and I can get used to the idea of being called Mr. Smith instead of Hey and Boy and all them other names, that they call us, Yeah.
And you can look at the most unstable, violent societies in the world, and they all have one thing in common. They all have a disproportionate amount of young men who have no economic opportunity and also have no opportunity for relationships. And if we're going to have an honest conversation, we need to have an honest conversation. Sex and companionship are huge motivators and guardrails for young men. They put on a shirt, they blow dry their hair, they get their act together, they get a job. So the attributes, the peanut butter and chocolate of behaviors between masculinity and femininity make for a better world. And again, that's not to say that people along the middle of that continuum don't deserve the same respect and the same dignity. But most households prosper when there are risk-aggressive, rambunctious, more prone to action attributes of masculinity in concert with more thoughtful and more loving femininity. And when men aren't engaging in relationships with women, and women can't find men they find, quite frankly, sexually attractive, we're in trouble. The greatest innovation in history wasn't the computer chip, it wasn't the iPhone. It was the middle class. And the thing that gave birth to the middle class was 7 million men returning from war who were given jobs and money and low interest loans, and quite frankly, demonstrated the heroics and the economic security to be very attractive to a lot of women. And we had the baby boom and the inspiration and the formation of the greatest entity of good in the history of mankind, the American middle class. Sex, companionship are key. And 1 in 3 men under the age of 30 in the United States has not had sex in the last year. And quite frankly, that as an adult is when they become bad citizens. It's no one's obligation to service them, but we need more economically and more emotionally viable men such that we can have more household formation.
Matter if you a good person, cuz like don't nobody care that a man is a good person if he broke. You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody care if a man is a good person if he can't fight. Don't nobody care if a man is a good, like all that comes after you meet the technical requirements. That gets stressful, bro. It wears on us, you feel me? Like, again, I'll be hearing that it's about other shit, but be honest, bro. It's about that after we meet the technical terms. And that is really starting to eat away at us, bro. Suicide amongst black boys, amongst black men is rising. You know what I'm saying? And it's from carrying the weight of this thing that we taught not to complain about. And many of us never will.
That's a
we'll
fact.
carry it to the grave, bro. We'll grind ourselves right the fuck away to meet that standard of manhood.
But I think it's a responsibility still, though.
But it's a toxic standard that was set by you guys. So I guess the next step is.
Whoa.
I didn't lie. Women didn't set the standard.
Let's pause.
You didn't lie.
I am a black man. I subscribe. I did not set.
Okay,
I did not build the standard.
Right.
I build no system. The most I can do is subscribe.
Right. But you subscribing, how can you change your subscription?
What, again, before you put this all on men, what do women still expect us to be?